Overall, this is a great little powerful tool that potentially can take multiple different battery related tools in your shop, garage, wherever you're at, and condense it down into one. Welcome to the channel. This is Weakest of Weeks and my name is Gary. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Topdon TB6000Pro. It is a battery tester and charger. It's nice to see multiple different things you may have in your garage squished down into one compact unit. Now for me personally, I have a bunch of different battery maintainers varying between name brand like Battery Tender, Harley Davidson, which realistically is probably a Chinese knockoff with a Harley sticker slapped on it. I have Schumacher and other various brands that have surprisingly been pretty reliable throughout the years. However, what has not been reliable for me personally are battery testers. Anytime I want to test a battery, I have to lug it to the auto parts store to hopefully get a reliable test. So it's nice that you can take a battery charger, maintainer, and tester, combine it, squish it down into one nice compact unit that is actually pretty incredibly durable, and do all of these things for one. So today we're going to try to put this little tester maintainer all in one unit to the test and get you an unbiased opinion. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll get to functionality in a minute here, but for starters, we'll check out the actual unit itself. I'm not much for an unboxing video, so voila, we have it out here laid out. Saved you some time, you're welcome. For starters, we have this big, cumbersome manual, a ton of information in here, but what I will say is it's kind of helpful in the sense that this is printed in multiple different languages because, of course, this is sold throughout the entire world. So very helpful, and kudos to Topdon to making this more user-friendly. As far as the actual product itself, this seems very durable. I am very impressed. It's got these rubber bases to it, so it kind of just really stays in place. I mean, you could have this thing on the ground, probably drop something on it, and it would still withstand it without even damaging this LCD. This thing seems to be so durable. I mean, it definitely has some weight to it. Now, I'm sure there's an IP rating of some sort as far as water resistance, so you can probably have this thing out in the rain temporarily. You definitely don't want to have this thing dunked in your pool and charging your battery at the same time. Most users are going to use these alligator clip styles, I imagine. These seem quite well built. It's got a really nice connector with little arrows indicating what direction this needs to go. However, it's kind of odd that the arrows are actually on both sides, so technically you could have this oriented the wrong direction. However, it's not going to click in the way it needs to. This has 4 pins versus most other competitors simply have 2. Now that leads us into this cable that is also included with this for kind of more of the maintainer feature. Now in comparison, this is a battery tender cable that's currently hooked up to my Saab 9.3 here. One point of difference is this has a built-in fuse protector. Now I know the actual unit itself has a safety feature if you were to plug in things incorrectly. The point of these eyelets is you literally screw this in, like this cable right here, into your battery. You set it in here and forget it. This vehicle sits 6 months out of the year, so I plug it in over winter. When I want to drive it, I unplug it and I stuff the connector down in here. This is a competitor's version. Notice how it has this nice rubber protection on the end. That way, whenever I'm driving the vehicle, whether it be in the rain or whatever, the moisture has less chance to get in here, corrode it, and cause issues. Whereas this Topdon version, it's wide open, 4-pin. It can hit different stuff, arc, and then you don't have a safety feature like a fuse to blow out before causing issues with your battery. So that's slightly concerning. The eyelets themselves, however they have this crimped, it's well done. However, it's quite bulky. So I definitely feel like they could slim that down. And then another thing that's going to be hard to portray on the camera is just how this cable feels. It feels chintzy. Again, here is a cable from another competitor. Look how stiff this thing is. I don't know what gauge this uses, but look at this cable. It feels cheap. So I'm hoping future versions of this, they slim down the eyelets, they use better upgraded cables, and then put a waterproof connector and inline fuse to this maintainer cable. So that is kind of the first impressions of the unit. To test the functionality, obviously we're gonna need power plugging into the wall. If you don't already have one of these retractable electrical extension cord reels, this one's 65 foot by Weber, I highly suggest getting it. Make your life that much simpler. Something that's quite simple, often overlooked, is the fact that this does not come with a simple zip tie or a bread tie. It actually has a proper cable tie with Velcro that's reusable. This particular battery has been sitting around probably 8 months without a battery tender on it, but these real nice alligator clips for a motorcycle battery are kind of gonna be a little troublesome. And that's nothing against these actual alligator clips. It's just the design of these batteries and how these terminals are quite inconvenient. That is on, and already we see this very nice LCD screen giving us a readout, 12.6 volts, which is actually quite surprising. Again, this thing has been sitting 6 to 8 months, not on a battery tender. We'll just go ahead and press this twice, and we should be starting to charge. So it's that simple. This is kind of the most simplistic means of going about it. Looks like we're at 1.2 amps there. Now it's cycled back to 13.6 volts. It's nice, you just kind of set it and forget it. To optimize the full functionality of this product, you must download the Smart app. Now it's good for Apple or even the Play Store for Android. Just search TB6000Pro. It'll be the first thing that pops up, and just go ahead, download, install, and open. You'll want to go ahead and select the location. I typically do only this time. At the top, you can go ahead and connect Bluetooth. Obviously, have the Bluetooth on the device that you're using on, and then it will easily link together. Now you can see there's a brand new app, and while I do update it in the future here, I did want to test it first and foremost. So here I realized testing this motorcycle battery after directly charging, it was kicking a voltage too high to test. So I just grabbed a random turn signal light I had laying around in my garage. It's from one of my old Softails, and I just kind of bled off some of that voltage a little bit with that light. Now you can use all sorts of different stuff. I just had to have it on there for a couple seconds. That was enough to get that voltage down enough from that 13 volt range to test, where I was able to find out that, surprisingly, this little motorcycle battery is still in great shape. We're now going to check out the testing features. Here, obviously you can see we currently don't have power hooked up to it. So that is the beauty of it. Granted, you have enough voltage to test. Now, I don't know what that threshold is. Right now, this battery is at 11.9 volts, which is more than plenty to test it without power. But if your battery is low enough to where it won't test, it kicks some errors perhaps, well then just simply plug it in back to the wall, let it charge enough to have some voltage to test it. But we just simply have the positive and negative alligator clips hooked up to my Saab here. We'll go ahead and run through the prompts, check out the starting and alternator features. So along with battery testing, you can check the cranking test and charging system of the vehicle. So in this case, I wanted to check the alternator and charging system for my Saab. So pretty simple 3-step process. You end up starting the vehicle, you hit confirm, turn off all the electronics. So basically you have the air conditioning, the radio, all of that stuff off, bring it up to 2,500 RPMs, go to the next step, and then you turn on the AC, radio, so on and so forth. So then it's testing without electrical demand and then with a greater electrical demand. Unfortunately, I was running into a hurdle where it was just this vicious cycle. So I gave up on the TB6000Pro app and then immediately updated to this Battery Lab, this new version. The download feature is the exact same, available for both Apple and Android. Very simple to link up via Bluetooth, and it's just more of an updated, kind of better feel of an app. There are limitations with checking an AGM, absorbed glass mat battery, and that's exactly what my Saab had. So I don't necessarily think it was an issue with the actual app itself, but more or less me trying to test something that the tester wasn't capable of doing. So once I downloaded it to this Battery Lab app, I switched to a flooded style battery in my Volvo. I followed these prompts exactly as I did before, just a little more visually appealing with this new app. And lo and behold, I didn't have any issues, and it popped out this charging result right here. So definitely happy with the process of it. Very simple to use. It's just, again, for this particular product, you need to use a regular flooded battery. So it's great that you can quickly save the screenshot of the results. That way, if you're showing somebody, say like a customer, if you're in a shop, you can easily show them without having to do the entire test directly in front of them. So here I am testing specifically the cranking system test, very similar to the charging, just a lot more simple. And then here are the specific results. And just like before, you can go ahead and save the results for yourself or to show somebody else. Now here is a quick rundown of the battery test. Now I did manually enter the 755 cold cranking amps that I got directly from the battery, and you just go ahead and test it and it gives you all the results. So my unsolicited, unwarranted opinion is that this is a great little effective tool if you're a DIYer, you need something for your home garage, or even if you're a shop that specializes in working in vehicles day in and day out. As far as the actual physical hardware, very durable, incredibly well built. Like I mentioned, great clamps, nice solid connector, albeit it's a little weird. They have arrows on both sides of this, so you kind of have a 50-50 shot of getting it correct, connecting that. But I think the main limitation that I'm struggling to understand is with this little additional kind of maintainer style harness, the overall gauge quality of the wire, rather pathetic. I think it should have a fuse of some sort, but I'm not an electrical engineer. The eyelets, a little bit cumbersome, although they are quite durable seeming. And then this connector, definitely not happy with it. It needs some form of a piece of rubber, something to really weatherize it from the elements. Now, I imagine this unit isn't made to be, say, like a battery tender where it's a maintainer 24/7 for 6 months straight. So that's possibly why this is a little lackluster. But overall, the quality of this seems very durable. Now, to fully maximize everything related to technology in this powerful little scanner, of course, it relates to the app. Now, you can definitely just plug this in, plug it into the battery, plug it into the wall, double tap this, and charge like just about every other charger out there on the market. What sets this one apart is the app. So the TB6000Pro, I had a bit of hurdles with that. While this does charge and test AGM batteries, the success rate of the cranking test and the charging system test, well, it failed every single time. And upon reading further, this little unit doesn't do the cranking nor the charging system test for AGM batteries. So 2 of my 3 vehicles here have AGM batteries. The third should, but I bought it used and they cheaped out on the battery. It's a little concerning simply because even though this is my 2008 Saab 9-3, a lot of more modern vehicles with a whole heck of a lot of computers and electrical demands require an AGM battery. So as far as the app goes, skip out on that TB6000Pro app, go straight to the Battery Lab app, and that's where I had a lot more success, a lot less errors involved, and there's a lot of cool features tied to that specific app. Now, another thing that kind of some food for thought for Topdon. Now, while this is very efficient with the Bluetooth, you're limited by proximity. Maybe it's something like, for instance, my Chamberlain garage door opener. It's connected via Wi-Fi, so I can literally be anywhere in the world. As long as that unit is connected to Wi-Fi at my home, I can go ahead and use an app to open, close, run diagnostics and all that stuff. So it'd be very cool if they utilize something similar for their next generation of battery chargers and testers. So if you're interested in this, check the links in the description, pick yourself up one. I'll also have a link in the description for Topdon's website. They have plenty other products, including things like jump packs and other chargers and diagnostic tools. A lot of great stuff out there, plenty more stuff that they're in development with. Thank you to Topdon for supporting my small little YouTube channel. If you have any questions, comments, drop a comment down below. I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.